My review is on the movie The Dark Knight Rises, which opened up July 16th in certain places around the world and July 20th in others, starring Christian Bale, Michael Caine, um, Gary Oldman, and Anna Hathaway. And before I get on to the review, I just want to say my condolences and my sorrow for the families and the friends that lost their loved ones at that theater in Colorado. It was a hard day for all of us, and it was a hard day for all of us, so I just want to say my condolences. I wanted to get that out of the way. But anyways, let's move on to the review. I have a summary of the movie here, and I'm going to read it to you. 8 years after the events of the Dark Knight, Gotham City is in a state of peace under powers granted by the Didnt Act. Commissioner James Gordon has nearly eradicated violent and organized crime.
However, he still feels guilty about the cover-up of Harvey Dent's crimes. At a function celebrating Dent, he plans to admit to the conspiracy, but decides that the city is not ready to hear the truth.
A new terrorist leader, Bane, overwhelms Gotham's finest, and the Dark Knight resurfaces to protect the city that has branded him an enemy.
Bane stages an attack on the stock exchange and uses a stolen set of Bruce's fingerprints to place a number of risky investments in his name, corrupting Bruce and forcing him to relinquish control of Wayne Enterprises. Correctly suspecting that his business rival, John Daggett, has employed Bane to aid an aggressive take over the company, Bruce entrusts in businesswoman Miranda Tate to keep full control out of Daggett's hands.
Now, during the review, at the very, very end of the review, I'm going to give away a spoiler of what happens at the very end of the movie. Now, I'm going to go through the whole movie, talk about it, but there's something that happens at the very end, and if you don't want to know what it is, stop watching the review. And I'll let everybody know, I'll alert them to the spoiler that I will be getting to. But I think that the end of this movie does really raise some questions for me, and maybe you feel the same way, but at the very, very end of the movie, I'm going to be talking about this one particular question in mind, or this thing that happens at the end of the movie, and see what your thoughts are on it. But when I get to the very end of the review, or near the end, and I'll let everybody know, you can stop watching if you haven't seen the movie yet, you don't want to know, maybe you've seen it, or maybe you're just anxious to know, or whatever, you can watch the very last part of the video. But anyways, I saw the movie, and I thought it was a good Batman film. There are some things in this movie that I wasn't happy with. Overall, I liked the movie, but there were some things that I wish that we had more of. I mean, I wish that we saw more Batman in this movie. I mean, may have been a couple of scenes where we do see him. He appears, every now and then, and we see a little bit more of him though towards the end. But it seems like, I don't know, this movie seemed to be focused more around Bane than it did Batman. I mean, I just wish that we saw more Batman in this movie than we did. Another thing that comes to mind in this movie is that a thing that disappointed me was they made Batman seem weak. I mean, there is a scene where he gets the crap beat out of him by Bane. But I think that I just think that there were certain things in the movie that I didn't care for. I think, well, like I said, I think it was a good movie. I do, but there were certain things I think that could have been done better. I just wish that we saw Batman more, and I wish that they showed him more strong and bold. But I mean, he was bold. He was brave and everything. But there was just some times where he just, I don't know. He got knocked around at times. Um, as far as Selina Kyle in this movie, the character Selina Kyle, um, she played Catwoman, and I don't think it was ever mentioned in the movie that she was Catwoman, but in the comics she is, and she had the ear things going on and everything, and so her character was pretty darn good. I liked that character. I think she did a good job in this movie. And another thing too is about Robin, or well, I think it's Robin. I don't know. Um, there's a character in the movie, and his name is John Blake, and there are things in the movie that lead you to believe that he's going to become Robin, um, because he takes a really, I mean, just the way the character development was of that character, almost made you believe that he was going to become the next Robin, and, just the way, But of course, the alter ego of Robin is Dick Grayson, and this guy's name was John Blake. He was, worked. He was a police officer, and then he became a detective. But it kind of led you to believe that he was going to become some kind of Nightwing or something. I mean, just I don't know, just the feel of that whole thing. Um, but the movie was pretty good. I mean, it was a good Batman movie, and I would probably put it there next to the last Batman movie, The Dark Knight. I'd put it up next to that one. The Dark Knight, I still feel is the best Batman out of all the ones that Christopher Nolan has done. Certainly, um, you know, but this movie was good. It was a good movie. I just had a couple of issues. I just wish we could have seen Batman more, and I wish that we got they showed Batman a little bit stronger, fighting better than he did. He did get, I mean, he does fight good, but there were just times where it just seemed that it made him look too vulnerable, and I just wish that they could have done better in those areas. But it was a good Batman film, no question. I mean, it is certainly going to go down as one of the best movies of the year, maybe the best. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what it does. As far as it going up against the Avengers. As far as money wise. What movie made the most in the comic book realm of movies this year. But yeah, I think this was a good film. Now, I thought the special effects were good. I thought the acting was good, and there's some things in the movie that didn't seem realistic to me. I mean, if you look at Batman Begins and the last movie, The Dark Knight, you'll remember that those movies seem very realistic. But there were things that happened in this movie that just seemed too far-fetched. For instance, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, the criminals break loose, and they overtake Gotham City. This big city. They overtake it. There's something that happens at a football field. I'm not going to say what happens. I mean, this stuff just seemed kind of too far-fetched and most closely of something that would happen in a comic book, but it is a Batman movie. It's just that in comparison to the other movies, I felt it wasn't as realistic as the other Batman films. But nevertheless, this was a good movie. It was a good Batman movie. I want to see it again. Now, let me get down to the part where now I'm at the part in the review where I'm going to talk about the very, very last part in this movie. And so if you don't want to know what happens at the end, you haven't seen it yet, stop watching the review. If you're eager to know, haven't seen it yet, but you're eager to know, you can watch it. Or if you want to discuss the end of the movie and you've already seen it, you can still watch the very end of the video. So I'm beginning right now. Leading up to this movie, there's been a lot of speculation that Batman dies. And the way the movie ended, I can see why. There is a scene in the movie where Batman has this thing. It's like a bat plane, and there's this big, huge bomb, like a nuclear bomb. He hooks it up to his helicopter and takes it way out to sea, so to keep, to keep Gotham City safe, so it doesn't blow up in Gotham City. What ends up happening is we see him taking it further and further and further out to sea. Then you see the little clock on the bomb counting all the way down to zero, and then there's an explosion. So presumably Batman is dead. But there's a point in the movie, or a part afterwards, where in Italy, um, Alfred, the butler, is at a restaurant in Italy. He's sitting down, and he sees Bruce Wayne sitting there, I believe, with Selina Kyle, and he smiles and nods to Bruce Wayne, and Bruce Wayne nods and smiles back to him, making us believe that Bruce Wayne really isn't dead. But I have a question though. Did he really see Bruce Wayne, or was this just his illusion or imagination that he saw Bruce Wayne? I mean, after all, I'm sure Alfred wishes and wants Bruce Wayne to still be alive, and maybe this was just some kind of illusion that he saw Bruce Wayne, or imagination. But I think, I mean, but or it could be that he really did survive. Maybe we saw, maybe what happened was he took that bomb out to sea, but they didn't show the part where he dropped it into the water. It got out of there real quick. But I think the way the movie ended, you can assume anything you want. You can believe that he's dead, and that was just Alfred's imagination of what he saw at that restaurant with the outdoor tables and stuff. Or you can believe that he went to Italy to hide, to fake his death, because he's going to hang up his cape now, and he's going to retire, faking his death, making everybody believe he's dead and he's not around anymore. So you can come up with any kind of thing that you want. I don't know. I feel that he is alive. I think he did survive, but that raises questions. And just like before, the other question I had was, was Blake, was that guy supposed to become some kind of Robin or something? But I think the ending was very interesting. I just don't know whether Batman. I didn't know whether Batman died or not. I thought perhaps maybe what we saw, with Michael Caine's character Alfred, maybe he just saw. He was sitting in that restaurant outdoor thing with the tables and stuff, and probably maybe it was just some kind of imagination or an illusion that he saw him, because he probably wishes and wanted him to be alive. But then again, I could be mistaken about that. But anyways, that's my review. And that's just some questions I have, and if you have any input on that, you can talk about it too, because I think that was a very interesting part of the movie. But anyways, that's my review, and everybody take care, and have a good week.